Every time I'm about to talk to you guys or you, Max, I feel like I want to have our own version of let's talk about streets, baby. Let's talk
Oh
about,
my
you know,
goodness. Mari,
we
Mari.
can only have somebody could sing that for us. It'd be great. And every time we talk about
Oh,
streets, we'll play it. No? Okay, that's fine.
oh, Mari.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to the City of Abilene's podcast, Building Community Together.
So, getting started, we are on the brink of street work time for 2024 as we get into that springtime weather. And so that was really the piece that made this a good time to touch base with our fantastic public works team, part of the public works team, on what folks will see coming for street work here in 2024. So, of course, we have you, Max Johnson, our director of public works, and Scott Chandler, your assistant director, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As a city engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we also need to give you the proper accreditation as Ashlyn the intern's dad.
Yes.
We all miss Ashlyn the intern.
Probably not quite as talented on camera, but
Oh, I don't know. It's got to come from somewhere. We'll see how that goes. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's first start off. I see if here, Max, if you want to kind of kick us off in just the overview of what people will see happening across Abilene roadways here for 2024. Namely from the street maintenance fund, we can get into a little bit more explanatory of where the monies are coming from. But overall, what will we see happening here for 2024?
Absolutely. So we have a big program coming up in 2024. We have several projects, both in the work zone areas as well as some linear street construction improvements. For example, one tie over from 2023 that we are just getting started is the Baker Heights neighborhood. That is a pretty large work zone project that will be starting shortly. Canterbury Trails just got approved. That is an area up near the zoo, which should be getting started here in the spring. Fairway Oaks is looking to be started in the approvals in the April timeframe. Should be looking for that sometime this summer. And then Pasadena Heights and a zone west of Rose Park, that neighborhood west of Rose Park, those will be coming later on in the year. In addition to those work zone and neighborhood projects, we also have some linear projects. Those are just streets that need improvements throughout the city. They may be a shorter distance, half a mile, up to a 2-mile stretch. North 18th, Great to Mockingbird is one of those that should be getting started shortly. South 7th, that is definitely a needed area for improvement. South 7th, Danville to Pioneer. That is from the 83-84 to Pioneer. And then Corsicana from South 7th to Benbrook is another linear project we have coming up. Some intersections in 2022, the Street Maintenance Board recommended to them, and they recommended to council to do some intersection improvements. And this was the ability to do the intersections without investing in the entire roadway, so that we get the intersections done, and then in the future we can come back and do the segments of the roadway that connect to those intersections without investing a larger amount in doing both. So some intersections this year that we're looking at are North 18th at Kirkwood, South 7th at Willis is another, Antley and Memorial, that's a big one that we're going to be getting started probably in the summer time frame. We're actually putting a new signal up, which we have found to be warranted at the Antley and Memorial intersection. That will help safety of people on Memorial going on to Antley, especially in the heavy traffic the morning and the afternoons. And then the last one on that list there is Southwest and the South 27th corridor. That is a project to upgrade many of the signals at those intersections, as well as sync those intersections so that as the public is driving through there, um, given some circumstances, they will be able to flow efficiently through that area, using it as a corridor versus having to stop at each signal along that route.
Yeah, that's nice. Especially get that weekend shopping that happens in that area. Gets so busy.
For sure.
When you do intersections, do they all become concrete? Or are we just talking about the traffic signals?
No, these are improving the pavements as well. That it really depends on the intersection and how much water in the
Yes.
stormwater design, how much water flows across. We are looking as best that we can. If there is a heavy amount of water that travels across during a rain event, we are looking to make those into concrete versus asphalt.
Okay. Scott, as the engineer,
Yeah.
the magical engineer behind all that. I mean, are there particular projects that just get your engineer soul very excited? Do you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see this one happening?
Well, I do. I do like I wanted to mention that as Max is going through these, all of these projects were selected by our street advisory committee, and we basically take and try to give them what would be a top 10 of a particular category of type of streets. So we give them 10 to 15 neighborhoods, and we discuss with them at the uh, committee meetings and let them basically choose from that list of what areas we're going to work on. A lot of these neighborhoods were actually chosen by them from a overall list that we gave them that we all felt were good projects that needed to be done. And so we're basically getting weigh in from them for the particular neighborhoods we do. And that really excites me that we know there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We try to present them with a large list and let them then weigh in on what they feel like is the most needed streets to be done in Abilene. So
Yes. And what I love too, we'll talk a little bit more about where you can go and see all this, which actually, if you go to yourabileneinvestment.com, from there you can easily find what all the street projects are. But what I love about when you see street maintenance funding in general, every year you guys are hitting up a north side and south side for the neighborhoods, especially.
yes,
So it really is, there's a lot of mindfulness in being fair in that sense, clearly. The other piece, though, is that the city has invested in studies to know exactly what roads are the worst.
right.
So if your road's not getting done and you think there's other ones out there that are worse. But no, it's important that we've invested in that. So we have a true catalog and I mean listing, I guess you could say, of what really is the worst and what really needs the attention first.
Yeah, I was gonna make that point that we aren't making these decisions in a vacuum.
No.
We have invested in a overall evaluation of our streets several years back, and we use that information and update that information regularly so that we know kind of the conditions throughout the city of where the streets are, and then that's how the engineers get together to make those recommendations to the street board. And the street board takes our recommendations as well as inputs from the citizens to make those final recommendations, which then come out of the street maintenance board to council for their approval.
Yes. And that street maintenance advisory board, it is your place, even if you're not on the board. Go to the meeting, talk during public comment, give your input on something. And that it was devised that way to be the place where residents always have a place to come and be part of that conversation about where the street maintenance fund money goes.
Have their voice heard and call attention to their neighborhood if they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun time. So, and just to kind of give out, I like to take time to give a little just background and reminder on the street maintenance fund and why we are in this, where we are in this place in time. Because it's, maybe if you're new to town or, just don't keep up with these things because you're not in the city hall at work every day. but the mayor just went through with our state of the city to kind of give an overview and review of where we are with the street maintenance fund. It's a charge you see on your municipal services bill every month. It's about $8, correct? I think we have, here we go. Yeah, $8.75 is what a single family residence is seeing on there. If you qualify for the low moderate income, that can be as low as $175. And then depending on the size of your commercial entity, you're seeing between $45 and $95. But since the inception of the street maintenance fund, that all came about because our council and city administration very much identified our streets had gotten to a place in the 2015 kind of time frame of there had been maintenance that had been deferred given the economic state and things that people were juggling up until that time, but basically getting to 2015 saying, hey, okay, we've got to figure out a way to address this and better maintain our streets going forward. So the street maintenance fund came about. That's as opposed to maybe having these big sort of bond issues that come around. So you might remember 2015, we did have bond money. And that's, correct me here, Max and Scott, if that's pretty much been all used at this point, or I think you guys are wrapping up some 2015 bond projects, but the street maintenance fund is there to be a constant investment in catching up with all these roads that needed work. Yeah. So we are a tortoise. We're not the hare in this race, but it's gotten a lot done.
Yeah. And what we are doing is trying to work on the streets that are in really bad shape, but then also streets that we have done work on in the last 4 to 5 years, start looking at cheaper treatment options to boost them back up and increase their longevity, so that every year as we have a consistent dollar amount coming in for street maintenance that we can depend on, then we can kind of plan and work on keeping up the streets we've already put our money into, and then also continue the work on the streets that need reconstruction or rehabilitation. But that really helps us plan when we know what dollars we're working with each year.
Yeah. I know you guys often give that changing the oil metaphor to this thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of just for the general public, it's kind of like changing the oil in your car. There are some streets that maybe are 6 years old that we are going back to do a treatment on. And people may wonder, well, that's not the worst city or the worst street in the city. Why are you working on it? Well, we're doing preventative maintenance on that to extend the life so that we get the full life out of that roadway. Instead of, and the analogy is like changing the oil in your car. If you change it regularly, your engine's going to run for a long time. If you don't change it, your engine's going to break down much quicker than what it was designed for.
Yeah.
And then be more costly too.
Right.
And be more costly.
Yeah.
Let's give these guys over here some love to help them live longer. Well, with all that said too, I think there's been great progress and you guys have this fantastic thing called the Rainbow Map that we can show everybody. But since the inception of the street maintenance fund, coupled with that investment from the 2015 bond money, DCOA is investing in our roads and all of that as well. 26% of Abilene's roads have now been improved through all these funding sources since 2016. So that's 170.9 of the city's 658 miles of roadway.
Realize that 26% is what we were just talking about, the different levels of some of that may be the minimal just a surface treatment. Mm-hmm. Some of that is taking the top level of asphalt down and doing minor repairs, and some of that is going full depth reclamation, going down to the bedrock of the street, redoing the subgrade, and then putting pavement back on top of that.
That sounded very public worksy and engineering, but yes, I get what you're saying. There's degrees to what we may put into a road. Yeah. The Rainbow Map, it's just pretty. So here's where I'm entertained by colors. But no, I think it's a great representation because you see 26% of roads being touched. I think that's significant. We're looking at the fact that since this time frame, a quarter of the roads have been addressed 3/4 of the way to go. But we're going to be in this continuous cycle for hopefully now until a long time from now. But you can see the full map of this at yourabileneinvestment.com as well, or just go to the city website and look, start searching away. But that map in particular, the more purpley violets roads that were highlighted, that's what's going to happen this year. But you can see that's everything that has been touched. And
realize, Maury, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Mhm.
So we are in this for the long run to touch all of our roads and improve all of our roads and get them to the standards where they need to be.
And I like to look at the rainbow map because I know that's the impact that you see. People are actually seeing that outside their front door.
Yes.
We're doing something to a lot of the streets in the city. We look at numbers a lot, and system-wide, the PCI, the pavement condition index, it's very hard to get to go up because the whole system is dragging, some of the ones that we've worked on down. But I hate to have that minimize what we're doing out there, because as we're improving, we are increasing the overall average. It's just hard when you look at the numbers and how hard it is to get a PCI point across the whole city to go up 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
But when you look at the rainbow map, it's definitely impacting people. And I think the citizens are seeing how much road work we're doing now. So
Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on out there.
I wanted to make a quick point too, Maury, that just because your neighborhood or your street is not in the overall program, we do have a street maintenance program that will come and fill potholes, that will do a patch if potholes are getting to a point where we need to do a patch. So the project for a road, we don't have to do the whole roadway. We do have a program where we can do pothole fills and patches to make those roads passable.
Well, that is a wonderful segue, Max, to talk about something like C-Click Fix or report a pothole at AbileneTX.gov. Like you're saying, I know I get emotional for you guys when folks do complain about potholes, because your crews actually are very good at addressing the pothole reports that they get. I want to say within 48 hours, they're able to get out there and and get it filled. What was it? It was almost 50,000 potholes last year that our street crews went out there and addressed. I'm imagining there's times when you may be reporting what you consider a pothole, and the crews get out there and see, oh, this isn't just a pothole fill. This is, there's lots of different kinds of wear and tear on street work. So maybe that might be something that's being tagged as a bigger issue that we don't just come and cover up with the bubblegum stuff that they talk about. So those might be some situations where if you're thinking of a certain area that didn't get addressed that you reported, that it's actually part of a bigger thing. It's not just a simple pothole. But if it is a pothole, that pothole crew, there's multiple, they go out there and they get them real quick.
We have professionals that do that every day. They are looking for inputs from the city because we don't drive every street every day. So we do utilize that C-Click Fix. We do take calls. We do on potholes on major streets as well as the residential neighborhoods.
Yes.
We will get to them. Our hope is to get them within 24 hours to 48 hours. But the more significant, the major arterials and places where we have a lot of traffic, we will put higher priority on those for the traveling public.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. There's a lot to do. We did talk a little bit about the street advisory board. Just want to remind folks that advisory board, whether or not it might be something you want to serve on in the future, but just to come to those meetings, which are posted on our website, is your place to have input on what gets done. And then again, like we were just saying now, C-Click Fix, which is the app you can download to report potholes or other issues you see around town too. That's just a great, easy way to be able to, you don't even have to snap a picture. You can just report as you're walking or driving by saying, oh, come check this guy out. Yourabileneinvestment.com is where we'd love for folks to go. If you look under, you get there, under the tabs on the top, you'll see projects and programs, and that's where you see street maintenance fund and projects. Get a an overview of what's going on. You see that rainbow map as well. And it's just an exciting time to be an Abilene roadway.
Yeah.
They're all getting a little work done eventually.
Absolutely.
Anything else you guys like to add or
I
talk about?
want to make one point that this program, like any programs in the economy that we're in, since the COVID era, prices have gone up, material has gone up, and those costs are pushed onto the projects. So what a project that we could have done 5 years ago, it costs a little more now, and that's in effect one of the factors in the overall street maintenance program.
Yes. It's lovely time to be alive. Well, thanks, guys. I think it's wonderful. I'm
Absolutely.
so excited to see things get torn up.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
So I'll make a point here too that we do improvements on the roadways, and we're making things better for the traveling public. I would ask our public to have patience in those construction zones. Pay attention to our folks. Our folks are out there with as much safety as we can provide to them, but we depend on the traveling public to also make note of the construction zones. Keep your cell phones away in those construction zones. Pay attention to the heavy equipment that's around there, and for sure the people that are out there that are busting their rear ends to make improvements and make the road better.
Man, especially in those summer months, I really hats off to them. It's so hot out there, and they're doing the work that helps all of us so much. So,
Well, and one thing, Mari, that I know we've talked about pavement condition for the most part, but he touched on a couple of corridors that we're working signal improvements for, and that's a way to really progress traffic and make traffic move more efficiently across the city by coordinating the signals, which that affects people's everyday commute. That we're excited about as well to hopefully have the signal corridor along 27th and there at Antley start progressing traffic a lot better than it has in the past as well.
I think that's one of those things that in today's day and age, you just sort of assume just that everything's talking to each other, and there is a lot of technology involved, but at the same time, it does take this kind of work to actually connect
It does.
signals in the corridor. So maybe as you sit griping at a certain light,
Yeah.
realize like, hey, it takes an investment to do all of that as well. So so that's great to hear, because that's certainly a busy place. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
What do you think, Max? You had something else?
No, I was just saying that we were saying in years past for decades, the street maintenance has been on the minds of people, but not necessarily a high priority for everybody. Since 2015, council has made this a priority to get our streets fixed and to invest the money to make the streets better. So that's kind of the way forward that we have. It's a council priority, and we're doing our best with every dollar that we get to invest into the infrastructure and make the streets better.
Yeah, they're coming along. I think 26% is great, and we're just moving full steam ahead from there. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, we can close out with the moment of silence and prayer for our friends on Buffalo Gap.
Yeah.
Our tech stop friends.
Yeah.
The force may the force be with you all out
we
there.
could make that point though. We could make that point that there are different categories of roads in Abilene.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That many times that whenever you see like the freeways, the 83, 84, Loop 322, I-20, there are different categories which TxDOT's responsible for some, and the city is responsible for others. And just because you see construction out there doesn't mean that's the city. It could be TxDOT and the responsibilities that go with that. get addressed by those entities,
Yeah.
either TxDOT or the city.
My husband's best friend is TxDOT. So
Yeah.
there's many a times I like to give him a hard time. I'm like,
And
hey,
TxDOT,
I sent some folks over to you. Like, that's a TxDOT road.
Yeah.
No, we love our TxDOT friends. So
we absolutely do. TxDOT is very good at what they do. They spend a lot of money, but their roadways are also designed differently for high rate of speed traffic and higher traffic counts. So many times their projects are doing a lot more to the streets and a lot more into the surface, and they take more time.
yes, that's right. It's going to be Buffalo Gap. It's going to be great, guys. Thank you so much. Here
All
we
right.
go. We'll see.
Thank you,
We'll
Mark.
see it all get better. It's going to be great.
All right.
Yep. Y'all have a great day.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Mari Cockrell, Communications Director for the City of Abilene. Thank you for being with us and in our conversations and following us here and finding us here on social media and whatever platform you may be on. We'd love to have you follow us and continue to get more information straight here from the City of Abilene. You can do so by, of course, following us on the socials as we've got here, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, but also subscribe to two things that will cover all bases for you. Code Red, that's going to get you your emergency communications, really severe weather alerts. For example, when we had our tornado come through, those sort of things, that's coming through Code Red. The other place to subscribe is at abilenetx.gov. You'll see under communications, there's a notify me option, and that's where you get to curate exactly what you want to hear from the city, whether it's city news releases, library information and programming, Parks and Rec. You can get that by email or text. So it can really be how you get your information. We love being able to push out direct text notification to residents on what we've got going on out there. So follow us there, and we can't wait to see more of you.